Have been announcements coming in from the centre and the state. It has become a full-fledged political slugfest as well, specifically with the Congress party charging at the BJP. So let's debate and discuss why the politics slugfest has now been escalating on this. Joining me from the Bharatiya Janata Party, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, the spokesperson of BJP, and from the Congress party who has been charging at the government at the centre, Aishwarya Mahadev. Thank you both of us for joining me. Let's begin with you, Aishwarya. What is the objection of the Congress party? Earlier it was inflation and rising prices. Then the government announces a slash in the excise duty. Now the Congress is saying that's not enough. You need to go higher and further with the cut in the prices. So there will always be an objection coming in on this case. What exactly is the problem with regard to the Congress party?
Good evening, Pooja. I think first and foremost the problem arises when over the past 2 months you've subsequently increased fuel prices by 10 rupees and now you act like you're doing somebody a favor by reducing it by 9 and 7 rupees respectively. The fact of the matter remains that it almost seems like this government, seems to be doing this great service, or they're pretending to, while the only thing they've done is they've given us minute respite compared to what it was 2 months ago, and even then the price that they've dropped is not lower than what it was in 2 months ago, wherein subsequently in 16 days you saw 14 price hikes right after the 5 state elections. The fact remains today that the government also sits substantially on a lot of resources in terms of, because of the barrel price and what it's trading at now. And if you look at the data from 2014, when all the BJP was out on the streets talking about how price rise is so high, the petrol diesel excise in the UPA era was below 10 rupees. It was 9 for petrol and 3 or 4 rupees for diesel. And now you see it at what? It was around 27 and 21, and now you bought in within 20 rupees. It's not much of a difference because you're still transferring the burden off to consumers. Okay. And this is something that the BJP now has given you a short-term release, but in the next 2 months, I'm pretty sure they will subsequently go back to the same price as before. But there is no sustainable long-term sort of...
Okay, so for now, Aishwarya, because the excise duty cut has been announced, let's go across and take that to the BJP. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, because Rahul Gandhi has been leading that charge saying, stop fooling people of this country. This is all a jumla. You need to bring it back to the 2020 level at least. How is the government defending and justifying the cut that has been announced in excise duty? And how can the Aam Aadmi eventually get a respite with these fuel prices?
Pooja ji, I would just like to mention that they are saying this is just a jumla and nothing much. It is a cut of almost 1 lakh crore that the centre alone will take on this reduction. Yes. Earlier also the centre in November, as you had also mentioned, that within 6 months we had cut the petrol and diesel prices in November also. This time again 200 rupees subsidy is being given to 9 crore Ujjwala users on the gas connections up to 12 cylinders. The thing is that the Congress and opposition have been crying foul and crying to reduce. Why they are not doing their part of duty? The Prime Minister asked in last month also their
duty means, sir?
Their VAT. So the thing, just one more point. Another important part is they are just misguiding opposition, particularly Congress is misguiding the people. Yesterday what Chidambaram ji said, he started without investigation or anything. He said that this 1 lakh crore cut with the centre will have a part from the state also. Then today he has retracted. So they first create a confusion through lies and false, and Rahul Gandhi is completely known for these things. Why don't they do, even if they reduce whatever amount, at least centre has reduced 15 to 20 rupees on petrol and diesel per litre. What states have done?
That's an important view, Aishwarya, because the excise duty, has been announced by the centre. Eventually it boils down to the VAT, which is respective of the state governments differently. Kerala was the first to announce a cut in the VAT, and Maharashtra just about an hour ago has announced a marginal cut, because as of now Mumbai, despite the cuts, is leading with a higher price of petrol compared to, let's say, Delhi or Delhi specifically. So why do you think
Chidambaram ji, why he tried to misguide people?
So don't you think the Congress-ruled governments also have some responsibility? Why don't they cut on the VAT is what the BJP is also asking, Aishwarya.
So Mr. Gopal Agarwal proclaims that, 1 lakh crore goes away from the government, but the subsequent price rises on excise has basically given the government 26 lakh crores of resources, right?
So
because you've hiked the price over.
Let's answer. Let's hear.
Sir, I have not interrupted you ever on air. I hope for the same courtesy, sir. Let me finish, please.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. So the fact remains that the BJP government has gotten 26 lakh crores only from petrol diesel excise. So this 1 lakh crore is hardly anything compared to that amount. And
Why?
second,
Why do you say that?
The states, because of the fact that, let me give you, right, excise in 2014 was around 9 and 3%. It was now what it is now, and now you brought it down by, let's say, 9 and 7 rupees. That's still a 531%, 500+% increase in the amount of excise. And because of that, the petrol and diesel excise that the government has collectively collected is over 26 lakh crores. So when Mr. Gopal Agarwal says
let him interject because he wanted to say something. Sure, sir, go ahead now.
Pooja, let me complete. Just 30 seconds.
Yes.
Pooja, let me just complete, please. The second point. The second point being you talk about the state's responsibility.
Okay, she's responding to the state responsibility, sir. Aishwarya, go ahead. Yes, that's important. I want to know why the states are not going ahead further, specifically the Congress states.
This excise being dropped is not only from the center itself, right? If it's central basic excise, you realize for every rupee, 51 paisa comes out from the center and 49 paisa comes out from the state. So inevitably, the states also have lost out on the dues that they're getting from the central basic excise. And the second question is, when the central government asks all these governments and opposition rule states and all of them to reduce VAT and whatnot, besides VAT being ad valorem, ask them how many of the BJP states have taken the initiative. Even in Karnataka, we're trading at a crazy high level, and a lot of opposition states will say pay back the dues that we require, whether it's what we're fiscally owed or whether
that's fair, but your allegations is that the BJP is not doing enough, and as central government it does bring down the excise duty. But Gopal Krishna Agarwal, you want to respond, you wanted to interject from the word go.
There are 2 points. Just now I told you that yesterday Chidambaram tried to, through his lies, say that this 1 lakh crore with the center from the excise is reducing, there is a share of the state. Today he has retracted. The same Aishwarya now is telling the same thing. This is the way Congress creates a false narration. This is completely the center which is giving this 1 lakh crore cut. Chidambaram ji today has clarified, and yesterday he gave this same statement. So this is the false, and I would request Aishwarya ji not to indulge in this falsehood. Second thing is, she is totaling the 8 years total excise collected on diesel and petrol. If we total the 60 years in which Congress has collected excise and duties on the petrol and diesel, it will come to more than what amount it will come. So this way is not every year. If the government is collecting any taxes, how much schemes of social welfare schemes we are doing.
But the Congress allegation is very clear, sir. The Congress allegation is first you increase it very high and then suddenly you start to nominally cut it. That's not helping anyone. That's just trying to pretend that it increased and we brought it down.
1 lakh crore now and around the same amount 6 months back. If the 2 lakh crore hit, if the center is taking, that's an important part. In the time when the center is taking so much of welfare scheme, fiscal stimulus, we have announced a fiscal stimulus of 30 lakh crores after post-pandemic. There are to the welfare of the people, so many schemes. 90 crore people are getting free rations. 9 crore people have got gas connection.
Aishwarya,
funds.
But eventually, sir, the fuel price immediately hits us directly as well. Aishwarya, here's an interesting.
We have reduced it.
Yes.
So therefore, if the center has done something, they can say you do more, but at least do your part at least.
Okay. Aishwarya, here, because Rajasthan's VAT collection is also one of the highest, apart from that of Madhya Pradesh. So the Congress-ruled states, which are now very few in the country, can actually take the leap and bring down. Mumbai has announced, Maharashtra basically.
There is no question of lead, at least follow. They are not taking the lead.
Okay.
Center is taking the lead, at least follow some part.
But the BJP-ruled states have also not come across as reducing the VAT in that line. That's also what Aishwarya had raised. Aishwarya, first to you.
They can blame some of the states which have not done.
Okay, Aishwarya, first to you. Rajasthan is a Congress-ruled state. It could have taken the lead from its part to say we will cut down the VAT majorly so that the people of the state can get some relief. It hasn't done that yet. There is no official confirmation. So the Congress is not exactly taking the initiative there as well. Aishwarya.
She said 51% of the 1 lakh crore is
Gopal sir doesn't speak over you because I can hardly hear because he does not seem to stop.
Okay.
Can you tell me, can you repeat what you just said? I'm very sorry.
Why are Congress-ruled states not taking the initiative in the VAT when there is, let's say, for example, Rajasthan reporting a higher VAT collection as well? You know, it is easy to also blame the centre. What is the Congress-ruled states also doing will also be asked.
Congress-ruled states are opposition states. They've already, not only in the conversation with the oil ministry and also the Prime Minister, they've basically said the sort of excise and the revenue that we get is marginal compared to what the centre is getting. One. Second, the GST that is pending in a lot of the returns that a lot of the governments and the states have to get are also massively pending. So when you talk about this federal argument, right, when you want constructive federalism, it has to be a give and take. Why would states unilaterally cut down on excise and whatnot? Because even the states are doing the same welfare schemes, no, that Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal claims the centre is doing. Why would they do it when the centre doesn't offer them the money that they duly owed? One, right? And second, let me give you a very simple analogy. There are a lot of stores where you always see 60, 70, 80% discount and a lot of people go in to buy things, right? The business model is very simple. You hike up the price of every product by 40% and then reduce it by 20% to make it seem like there's a massive discount. And the only thing it does is it hoodwinks people.
Gopal Krishna Agarwal, that's a big charge.
That they are hoodwinking people. This is not a long-term solution
that you
whatsoever.
Deliberately increased it, and you initially, remember, the government had said it's all about the international situation, specifically the Ukraine war. But according to the Congress, this was all deliberate. This was hoodwinking.
No. If the petrol prices at the international level is $115 a barrel, it's a reality. Ukraine war, we were getting maximum of our gas from Ukraine. That is, the complete supply is now disrupted. So the thing is, from Russia we have tried to procure. Once that oil comes from Russia, we will be slightly in a better position, but the cost at the international level is $115 a barrel. It's a reality. The thing is, Aishwarya ji has not responded to the charge which she said that 50% of 1 lakh crore is being borne by the state, and that is a complete lie. She is not answering that question. Why she is telling lie, and why Chidambaram ji yesterday told a lie, and why the states are not following what the centre is doing. They can blame some of the states which the BJP ruled states are not doing, but at least centre is doing. At least follow
the Congress spokesperson wants to answer and interject there. Yes, Aishwarya, go ahead, please.
Pooja, when you talk about the barrel price, right, in 2014, everybody remembers all the BJP out on the street. Sir, please, I will answer, sir, please. Yes. It obviously does not reflect well on you and your stature. Pooja, the singular fact remains that, you know, back in 2014, even before we demitted office, the manner in which the BJP is out on the streets when fuel cost, what, 60, 70, I think, and that was when the barrel was trading at $100+, and it is trading at $100+ now. The Congress government decided to buffer that blow, basically bear that burden, and kept excise duty so low that, and it did not transfer that burden onto the consumers. Today, it is not only petrol, diesel, it is LPG, it is pulses, it is fuel, it is oil, and you look at the wholesale prices,
and to what
you realize that the
Gopal
burden is
Krishna is
being
saying,
borne directly by the people.
Yes.
Now about Mr. Chidambaram's statement.
That if he's already said I stand corrected, why is the Congress netas and spokespersons repeating the same charge?
So again, so there are 4 types of excises. Okay, on that manner, if I am wrong on that, and you know, because if the states do not have a share in it, then if you see that the excise has been dropped, let's hope that the BJP states pull down the VAT also and set a standard and a model for all the other states to bring down, right, the VAT, and also because they're deprived of all their funding. But even with that, the fact still remains that your price, like your excise drop, is still substantially lower than what you've increased over just the past 2 months. And it is a fraction, and it is a fraction of what you could have actually done. And the fact remains, from something that was below 10 and 20 rupees back in before we demitted office to now as high as it is,
Gopal,
you
Krishna,
still are making a killing of how much money you
taking it back to the UPA era. Is it a fraction? Could it have been much more? Why didn't the government at the center ensure, if it was turning populist, go all the way out, give it as much possible slash that it could have in the excise duty, thoda sa kiya, and making it look like a favor the Congress is charging?
Pooja, we have to understand that we are not a banana state. We have to take economic decisions based on economic considerations. When the government allocates its resources to various aspects, it has to see what are the priorities. If we are allocating 2 lakh crore to the petrol and diesel excise reduction, we are allocating 30 lakhs crore to the fiscal stimulus. We are allocating now several thousand and lakhs of crores to give free rations to 90 crore people every month. We are giving 9 crore gas connection. It is the priority. We think that though it is an important part that the petrol and diesel prices are reduced, we are allocating to the wise manner, and we do not. We have examples of Bangladesh and other states. If you do not have a proper fiscal policy, you do not allocate your resources properly. What Rahul Gandhi will do is just reduce petrol and then go to America and talk, ask for some bailments and other things. The thing is, the size, the last 10 seconds, the size of the budget. Aishwarya ji is again and again saying that at that time, UPA time, what was the size of the budget? It is every year we are increasing 15 to 20% size of the budget. At present, it is 30 lakh crore that we are spending, and for the development, we are creating infrastructure, airports, roadways, airways.
And we hope,
waterways,
sir, we hope that the government continues to do it. That is the job of the government. That is the job of the government to work for the welfare.
Job, it depends the quantity of what we have done. Compare it with the UPA.
All right. I have to wrap it, but because Aishwarya is raising her finger, Aishwarya, just a quick point, then I'll have to. Gopal, so you've made your point. Aishwarya, quickly finish your point.
Pooja, he talks about Mr. Rahul Gandhi going abroad and trying to get money. Please remember that today the government is mulling taking a loan and having some external borrowing on the fact that they've slashed excise. The reality remains that the common man of India is suffering today. This is a mere lollipop. This is not substantial enough to actually bring back anybody's life to normalcy. And the government, if they're very serious about the welfare of the people, should focus on ensuring that all prices are lower, inflation is low, and you have the economic progress back on track, because right now it's completely abysmal and the country is in shambles. It is only a matter of time before you see more people
and Gopal, Krishna Agarwal saying we're not taking any loans, we're not going out to take any loans. A clarification there coming in. But thank you so much, Aishwarya Mahadev and Gopal Krishna Agarwal, for your views, because remember, eventually the issue is about fuel price. It affects us all, and it is important that politics is done over it so that all politicians can get together and we get some relief.